your work with God, that this is not the way I'm supposed to go, Most of your prayers now is seeking counsel to have material things. Most of your fasting now, most of the meetings you attend, you are seeking counsel to receive from the Lord. When last did you isolate yourself and ask the Lord, Father, tell me what must I do? God is looking for a man who can subdue his own generation. God is looking for a brother. In the family you can start. You can be that person. You can be that brother that says everybody has failed God, but Father, if you can show us mercy, again I am available. I am here. I want to become a builder of a generation. I want to become a man who can build, and when after 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 100 years, the building is still standing. I am not talking about a physical building. I'm talking about the legacies we can lay ahead before our seed can come after us. I'm asking you a question. If God calls you now, what can you present to him as an evidence that this is what I have? Before Moses was called, there was something in the hand of Moses, and God asked him, what is that in your hand? And Moses said, there is a scepter upon my hand. And the Lord said, for you, you are seeing a rod, you are seeing a stick. For me, I'm seeing a staff. And a day came, this same man named Moses, an ordinary man as he was, appeared before a God who was Pharaoh. When he came to deliver the message to Pharaoh, that God said, let my people go. Do you know that Pharaoh asked him, who is this your God? As you approach your own generation, they are asking you questions. If you are truly called by God, can you give us a sign that we may know that you are truly called? How many of you have the potency or the power, the ability to subdue a particular campus? How many of you have the power to subdue a particular family? How many of you can raise an altar in that family, that even when you are going to be with the Lord, even when you are dead, nobody dare to serve any other God, because there is a compelling power you have. There is something God has laid upon your spirit, and that thing is compelling people in the family to walk in alignment to please their own God. There are many people today in the church, they are coming to church, but they are holding into so many things. I speak upon your life tonight, as we are in the era of alignment in the spirit. In these 4 days, may God give you the grace and the power and the unction to subdue your own generation. If you say amen, receive a prophecy. So there is a new thing God wants to do in the land. Men and brethren, can't you see that Satan is distracting many people? Can't you see that there are many of you have been taken away from the ways of the Lord? There are many things when they come for discouraged believers. You must understand the tactics and the strategies of Satan in this end time. The plan of the enemy is to bring you down. The plan of the enemy is to see that you are being separated from your God. Tonight, we are going to allow God to do what he wants to do. We are going to become like the clay in the hand of the potter. That God, look at me, you can mold me how you want me. There are a few things I want to say, then we'll pray tonight. Do you know marriage is not a blessing? Marriage is not a blessing. Marriage is obeying God's word. He said a man shall leave his father's house and cleave to the wife. Now, I want to liken marriage to the kingdom. The husband shall leave his father's house. Jesus left heaven, his father's house. Follow me carefully. Ephesians chapter 5 verse 22 downwards. You can find it explicitly how God explained marriage. Do you know? Oh God, give us understanding. Do you know that when a man proposed to a woman to get married, especially to a virgin, if you're a virgin, there's something we call a hymen. Do you know about it? The hymen is what makes you a virgin. Once that hymen is broken, blood will speak forth. Do you know on the cross of Calvary, the hymen of Jesus to bring salvation to men, his blood was spilled on the cross? Do you know when the hymen of a woman is being taken away, you are no longer a virgin? So when a man entered an altar to make marriage, do you know that there's a veil upon the wife? Take off the veil. When Jesus died on the cross, the veil upon the temple was torn. Marriage is not a blessing. Marriage is an ordinance we obey. As I was seeking the face of God, and God said to me, teach my people the word. Let them understand. They will stop dying for these things. Now listen to me. Why you should not fornicate? You should not fornicate because, oh God, help us. If the hymen of a lady is being taken away, now you understand and know that before ever you make the vow, the veil has been torn. How can you take off the veil when already have broken the hymen? That is why it is good as a believer to wait upon the Lord. When you are single, don't tamper your virginity to any man. You know why? Because you are carrying God's temple in you. So you find out if the man should leave his father's house. Jesus left heaven, his father's house. So the Bible says Jesus is likened to be who? The groom. And who is the wife? The church. And do you know that you are the church? I want to ask you a question. How many of you are still a virgin in the kingdom? How many of you are still a foolish or a wise virgin in the kingdom? In Matthew 25, there's a parable given to us. Until we all come to the fullness of Jesus, building a generation that will understand that Jesus is the only author and the finisher of our faith. Yet the world will never become a better place. Marriage is not a blessing. Marriage is a command from the Lord. He said multiply, subdue. Genesis chapter 1. But tomorrow I will say more on that. Is God talking to us? Yes, are we understanding something? Yes, sir. So when you know these things, you will realize that there are many of us, we are too shallow to understand.